Get started here one moment. Just a wee bit. Alright, buddy, do you want to go down? Go to that couch. Let's go to options. That's better. So good afternoon, excuse me. This is the BGBC, the Backlog Gaming Broadcast Company. I'm your host, Eddie Akiba. Apologize. Feeling a little bit under the weather. Finished up, did a run of mixtape yesterday afternoon on the Saturday afternoon main event. I'm going to be checking out. This is kind of a random one. This one's been in my backlog for a bit. I haven't played it. It seems kind of interesting. I'm not promised I'm going to roll credits on this, but I want to just check it out. It's called Walden, a Game. And actually, this is a game that was made by a bunch of university students. The SCU students, I think. Southern California University, I think. I could be wrong on that, but it was definitely university students. It's basically, it's a game that kind of like, it's based on Thoreau's Walden Woods. And, I don't know, it just seemed interesting. It could be boring, but I want to see, I'm interested to see how they translate that type of book into a interactive experience and make it compelling just beyond the content of the source material. So we'll go ahead and get started here. We'll do a new game. As I said, I don't know really what to expect from this game.
I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to reduce it to its lowest terms, and, if it proved to be mean, to get the whole and genuine meanness of it, or if it were sublime, to know it by experience, and to give a true account of it.
To begin living Thoreau's experiment, seek out the glittering arrowheads throughout the woods. The first one is on the rock between you and the cabin. And like, if you're not familiar with, I think I read this book in high school, but I can't remember anything at all about it. Of course, it's based on the writer Thoreau, who went and lived off in the woods by Walden Pond, famously, for I think 2 years, and he wrote a book. It's kind of the basis of like what they call transcendentalism. Move closer, center, and click on objects. Alright. I've never really grew up being an outdoors person, but here recently, within the past couple of years, I've really grown to appreciate nature and just kind of like getting away from everything, going outside, touching grass, unplugging from everything, just kind of appreciating the moment, and I think we've all kind of like when you get older, I think we encounter like certain life events or whatever that might trigger you to be like, I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna go. It would be great to go live off in the woods, Which I wonder if Thoreau was like that. So if this, I'm not expecting like a hardcore survival simulation, but this is what I kind of get like role play this kind of like fantasy sometimes you have in the back of your head of like, wouldn't it be great if you could just go off, live in the woods, and live off the land and have a peaceful, quiet life. So we'll see if this translates into an actual interesting game.
When I wrote the following pages, or rather the bulk of them, I lived alone in the woods, a mile from any neighbor, in a house which I had built myself, on the shore of Walden Pond, in Concord, Massachusetts, and earned my living by the labor of my hands only.
Press and hold the right mouse button over anything in the world to inspect it closely. Okay.
Interesting.
Are they crimson or vermilion? I'm not sure, but the bunches of the smooth sumac berries are handsomest when but partly turned. The green berries showing a velvety crimson cheek. Say about August 1st or early in August. It is early summer. This plant is ripe. Click on it to pick it. Food that you find, grow, or buy will fill your food stores. The food jar icon will glow green when they are completely filled. Alright, let's grab some more. Alright, that's enough for now. I think one thing maybe that kind of, one of the things that like separates us moderns from society back then is like people knew shit about like horticulture and plants and like general survival. I know people like that who can like look at a plant and be like, oh yeah, that's edible, or that's da 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 da. I don't know any of that shit, so I would be basically taking my life in my hands if I ever, like, I saw a berry that looked good and try to eat it. It's probably poisonous.
When I first took up my abode in the woods, my house was not finished. It was a pleasant hillside where I worked, covered with pine woods, through which I looked out on the pond, and a small open field in the woods where pines and hickories were springing up.
Like this, like building the frame of a house, I think that would be really hard to do by yourself. You have a letter on your doorstep, click on it to pick it up. Like I know there's like kits and stuff like that, but I am so like non-mechanically oriented as far as like being able to build shit. Like I don't know. What I would probably do is if we were like, yes, I'm gonna go live off in the woods, off grid. I would probably buy one of like those big ass sheds you see outside of Lowe's, maybe. Like freeze to death or whatever.
July 4th, 1845. Dearest Henry, congratulations on the start of your experiment. I hope that the work goes well and the ideas are fruitful. Mr. Emerson says you are intent to devour yourself in our woods, but I hope that you will remember to take good care and keep yourself well. Mother worries, as do I. Your loving sister, Sophia.
1845, okay. Like, I think now, and like, today's day and age, if you were like, "Fast sister, I am going to live in the woods," they would be like, "You're crazy. What are you doing?"
July 1845. My dear Henry, Mr. Emerson has assisted my family in acquiring a house near Concord, and there we are now, riding and living like philosophers, which is to say, with little but happily. I will visit you soon and bring Mr. Garrison of the Liberator. We have all been so inspired by his earnest and unequivocal writings regarding the moral stain of slavery on our nation. Perhaps he will speak at our Lyceum on the topic. Yours truly, A. Bronson Alcott.
I was gonna say, I actually have a friend who she owns some land out in the woods around here, probably like 30 minutes away. Okay, your inspiration has become low, but you can be drained by reading, attending to sounds of life in the distance, enjoying solitude, and interacting with visitors. Okay. Where like she can actually like put down like a piece of property if you want or something. She's talking about like buying a school bus and renovating it and all this. I'm like, I don't know if I could be the person that lives in a renovated school bus in the woods. Yeah, no. Like it would have to have, like, at least be a tiny
There is
house.
some of the same fitness in a man's building his own house that there is in a bird's building its own nest. Who knows, but if men constructed their dwellings with their own hands and provided food for themselves and families simply and honestly enough, the poetic faculty would be universally developed, as birds universally sing when they are so engaged.
Again, building a house is kind of difficult. It's pretty difficult, at least in this day and age, by yourself. I'm sure you could, like, if you had never done it before, and were forced to do it, and you had instructions, you could do it.
What are you doing now? Emerson asked. Do you keep a journal? So I make my first entry today.
Okay. Alright. This is your journal, a collection of all the ideas you found in the woods. First page is a map of Walden. Use Q and E keys to turn the page. Let's see here. So there I am there. I got my cabin. Fishing spot. Where's the fishing spot? Probably have to find that later. Campfire, boat. Any campfires nearby? Alright. Shopping stump. Alright, I see that. Ruined shelter. Reading rock. Solitude cairn. Okay. Task and job. Alright. Dude's got $1.89, which I don't know, in 1845 that could be anything from like $100 to $3,000. No, I'm kidding. Food about half full, fuel about half full, clothing somewhere, shelter under construction, fully rested but uninspired. Okay. Journal, 1845, early summer. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately to front only the essential facts of life. Not okay. We already read that. All right, so it's everything we've. Okay, got it. We've already. He's already read that to us. Do you like the sound of the woods at night? Yeah.
July, 1845. Dear Mr. Thoreau, my employer, Dr. Agassiz, was happy to meet you last month with Mr. Emerson, and was quite impressed with your knowledge of local biology. He wonders if you might be able to provide some specimens for him to use in his work. Dr. Agassiz would gladly come to Concord to collect such specimens himself, but is drawn away by numerous and pressing engagements. If you are amenable to this idea, we will soon send you requests for these items and are happy to pay you for your trouble. Sincerely, James Elliott
That sounds
Cabot,
like a quest.
assistant to Dr. Agassiz, Harvard University.
Harvard. Harvard University, Harvard. Got any more letters here? No? Alright. Is there a fire here? I probably have to, Alright. There is nothing better than the sound of crickets at night in the forest, or just like in your neighborhood. Bunny rabbit. Alright. Alright, so these already read this part. Are you have another letter by your front door. You may get more mail as the day passes. Alright, so early morning. Interacting closely with animals by pressing and holding the right mouse button over them will add to your inspiration, although they may bolt if you get too close. Letter from Emerson offering to lend you an axe. Click on the letter to read it.
July 1845. Dear Henry, you've told me yourself that it is difficult to begin anything without borrowing, and I know that you can use an axe, so I've left one for you in my front yard by the chopping stump. Do come by any time to fetch it. Perhaps we can discuss the new lecture I am working on while you are here. Your friend, Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Location items you need to find and tasks marked red X on the map in your journal. Alright. Alright, how do I get to my journal? No. There we go. Alright, so... Oh, there is a reading rock nearby. So, I guess we'll go to Emerson's, though. Because that's where they want us to go. I think that's the reading rock. Okay. Check out these pine trees. Pitch pine sapling. Excuse me. Pinus rigida. Pitch pine is very seedy tree, and it's peculiar bent on extending its own domains. It begins to bear when very small, sometimes when less than 2 feet tall. Alright. Alright, more food. Alright, so things are rapidly deteriorating. Food stores. Let's grab all them berries. Grab them. Alright, that's good. Alright. So far, a lot of tutorialization.
Huh.
Make my supper of blueberries and lay up a store for several days. The fruits do not yield their true flavor to the purchaser of them, nor to him who raises them for the market. It's early summer, this plant is ripe. Click to pick it. Alright, that's enough of that. I need to go... Ooh, there's a rabbit. Hares were so nearly the color of the ground that they could hardly be distinguished when still. Sometimes in the twilight, I alternately lost as recovered sight of one sitting motionless under my window. No. I'm turned around now. I need to go the other way. Yeah. Is there a run button? I don't think there is. Definitely have woods like this around where I live, in the mountain. Let's go. Ah, I can run. Nice. Alright. Let's see what you got, buddy. Let you breathe. What we got here? Granite. To what end, pray, is so much stone hammered? Nations are possessed with an inane ambition to perpetuate the memory of themselves by the amount of hammered stone they leave. I'd love better to see stones in place. Alright, we've already established that, dude. I could like level up his stamina. That'd be cool. Like Oblivion. Man, I need to get back to playing Oblivion. Game's awesome. I might do like a Tamriel Tuesdays. Every other Tuesday. Where I play some Oblivion. Alright, so we're gonna go into town. Oh, we got some pine cones. Check out these pine cones. No? Concord. Alright, so here's Ralph. This is the home of Ralph Waldo Emerson, your mentor and friend. You can enjoy his library or do odd jobs at his workbench for money. Got a bone here. Dog bone. Do what you love, know your own bone, and gnaw at it, bury it, unearth it, and gnaw it still. Can I take it? No. Waldo's Toy Hoop. How contagious are boys' games? A short time ago, they were spinning tops all the country over. Now every boy has a stick curved at the end. For hockey in his hand, whether in yards or in distant lanes, I meet them. Cleaning up toys earns 3 cents. Alright. Get that money.
Interesting.
Chopping stumps. Wood choppers spending their lives in the fields and woods are often in a more favorable mood for observing nature than philosophers or poets even. Click here to chop firewood. I'm gonna Say hello to Ralph first, though.
It's very good to make your acquaintance, Mr. Thoreau. Your sister seems to believe our thoughts and philosophies are very much aligned. It is good to find a youth so interested in the finer fruits of thought.
This game could also be pretentious as fuck. We'll find out here. Ah. Ralph, you need to buy some textures for your carpenter. Letters may give you insight into your relationship with Emerson. They'll change from season to season. Letter to Margaret Fuller.
Dear Miss Fuller, it was a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for the introductions to such brilliant new company. I am sure that writers such as these will fill our new journal with rays of golden talent. I have another name to add to the roster of our dial, Mr. Henry David Thoreau, a fine, brave youth of this town from whom I expect great things. I will send you some of his work soon. My son, young Waldo, is very well, and wife Lydian sends her love. R.W. Emerson.
Okay.
Recommendation for Henry David Thoreau. I cordially recommend Mr. Henry D. Thoreau, a graduate of Harvard University in August
Harvard.
1837, to the confidence of such parents or guardians as may propose to employ him as an instructor. I have the highest confidence in Mr. Thoreau's moral character and in his intellectual ability. He is an excellent scholar, a man of energy and kindness, and I shall esteem the town fortunate that secures his services. R. Waldo Emerson.
Letters to and from Emerson. There may be some about you. Can I grab them? I guess I already grabbed them. Extreme! Give you that money. Ignoring your basic needs, such as food. Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. Interesting.
Old Bummer's Almanac. Bummer's Almanac is never a big book, and yet I think that the history of poetry of one farm from a state of nature to the highest state of cultivation come nearer to being true, the true subject of a modern epic, than the Siege of Jerusalem. Whatever. Click on the book to read it. Seasonal climate of Massachusetts. Don't make me learn! I'm kidding. Warm, humid summers and long, cold, snowy winters. Thick, deciduous forests that bring bright, colorful foliage. In fall, springs are wet and cloudy. Seasons of the year last 3 cycles each. Early summer, late, Planting and harvesting of beans in this climate. Beans are a good source of nutrition and can be grown easily in cleared land. Their market value is pretty good. Planting. In spring, summer, and fall, plant beans in the soil that has been cleared of weeds. Okay. Growing. Beans take 6 day cycles from planting to harvest. Need weeding. Weeding. Weeds may sprout. Okay. 1 day before they're ready to harvest. Weather warning. They'll die. Okay. Alright, let's go talk to this dude. Sometimes I left to get fire when I went to take a walk in the winter afternoon, and when I returned 3 or 4 hours afterward, it would be still alive and going. You're fully rested. All right.
Oh, Henry, how goes your new experiment? Has genius struck yet at my woodlot?
I'm gonna lie. Just got here, dude.
Yes, in fact, the experiment is going quite well.
Excellent to hear. I do look forward to reading your new work. I hope you are keeping a good journal, full of your insights about life in the woods. Since you're here, I could use your assistance with some research I'm doing for a new lecture. Could you spare the time to help me?
Sure.
Certainly.
Well, thank you. I know you're quite busy with your own work, but I need help finding my copy of Homer's Iliad. I saw that you were reading it down by a new cabin. Do you still have it there?
I haven't seen it, but I can look for it.
Wonderful. Let me mark the very spot I think I left it on your map so that you can find it. In the meanwhile, I found some books on bean planting and local wildlife you might find useful. I put them on the table in my library for you.
That shouldn't be difficult to find. I'll see you again soon.
It's this here. Local wildlife. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, you try to get close to them. Local birds. Chickadees. Wood thrushes. Sparrows, hummingbirds, nighthawk. Owls. Active at night. Okay. Got fish. Waterfowl. Water bugs, tadpoles, bullfrogs, paper frogs, mud turtles. Squirrels, hares, and minks. Okay, red foxes, mice. Horses, cows, hounds. Alright. Edible plants of Massachusetts. Wild apples, huckleberry, blackberry, sumac, ground nut, high bush blueberry, wild strawberries, purslane, beans. All right. I'm gonna go back to my cabin. Probably needs to eat. We need to get some food, man. Get another lighter. I already have that one. Let's eat.
My house was on the side of a hill, immediately on the edge of the larger wood, in the midst of a young forest of pitch pines and hickories, and half a dozen rods from the pond, to which a narrow footpath led down the hill. In my front yard grew the strawberry, blackberry, and life everlasting, John's wort and goldenrod, shrub oaks and sand cherry, blueberry and groundnut.
I do need to build my house, but I mean,
My residence was more favorable not only to thought, but to serious reading than a university. And though I was beyond the range of the ordinary circulating library, I had more than ever come within the influence of those books which circulate round the world.
there's a book there, but I want to build my cabin. Where? All right. Here it is.
The necessaries of life for man in this climate may, accurately enough, be distributed under the several heads of food, shelter, clothing, and fuel. For not till we have secured these are we prepared to entertain the true problems of life with freedom and a prospect of success.
Rest near a fire, or you can take a walk in the woods to gain energy. All right. All right, we're gonna rest.
The grand necessity, then, for our bodies is to keep warm, to keep the vital heat in us.
I mean, this is a pretty nice, I could live out here. Alright, so I can get a fishing rod. Again, though, I want to, check out these plants here. Oxeye daisy. Every new flower that opens, no doubt, expresses a new mood of the human mind. Whitewood or oxeye daisy will open perhaps tomorrow or the next day. My thoughts begin to correspond. Alright, let's go back to the cabin. Rocks. Leaves.
Interesting.
Alright, good. I got my house set up. So let's go find that that book. Looks right. Okay, yeah. Which would make sense that it's down there. Oh, well, where was the reading rock? There it was. Homer's Iliad. How many a man has dated a new era in his life from the reading of a book. Reading the books you find in the woods will raise your inspiration. Click here to read. You found Emerson's copy of Homer. Return it to them to claim the inspiration this text offers. From the Iliad by Homer. You brought this copy of Homer's epic poem about the Trojan War, circa 800 BCE, with you to read at the pond. One of the oldest known works of Western literature. It speaks to your love of the classics. In reading the story of both the glories and horrors of war, you are likely to be reminded of the impermanence of human life and its creations. The fight between Trojans and Achaeans was now left to rage as it would, and the tide of war surged hither and thither over the plain as they aimed their bronze-shod spears at one another between the streams of Simios and Xanthus, I think. First, Ajax, son of Telamon, tower of strength to the Achaeans, broke a phalanx of the Trojans and came to the assistance of his comrades by killing Acameus, son of Eurus, best man among the Thracians, being both brave and of great stature. The spear struck the projectile's peak of its helmet. Its bronze point then went through his forehead into the brain, metal, and darkness veiled his eyes. Then Diomede killed Axylus, son of Teuthranus. A rich man who lived in the strong city of Erisby, and who was beloved by all men, for he had a house by the roadside, and entertained everyone who passed. Howbeit not one of his guests stood before him to save his life, and Diomed killed both him and his squire, Calisius, who was then his charioteer. So the pair passed beneath the earth. Euryalus killed Dressus and Opheltius, and then went in pursuit of Aspius and Pythias. Okay, alright, yep, alright. Born to noble, blah 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 blah. Tending his sheep, he had converse with the nymph, and she conceived twin sons. These the son of Mystietus now slew, and he stripped the armor from their shoulders. Polypoetes then killed. Wow, this is compelling stuff here. Of course, this is obviously paraphrased. Alright, it's about the Trojan War, okay. I'll read this part. Meanwhile, Nestor shouted to the Argives, saying, "My friends, Danaan warriors, servants of Mars, let no man lag, that he may spoil the dead and bring back much booty to the ships. Let us kill as many as we can. The bodies will lie upon the plain, and you can despoil them later at your leisure." With these words, he put heart and soul into them all, and now the Trojans would have been routed and driven back into Ilius had not Priam's and son Helenus, wisest. Okay, I'm not going to read all this. Let's go back to Emerson. I'm like, fuck that reading. No, I'm kidding. for some reason, I don't like. I like reading. I like reading books. I don't like reading books in video games for some reason.
Regularly at 7:30, in one part of the summer, after the evening train had gone by, the whippoorwills chanted their vespers for half an hour, sitting on a stump by my door, or upon the ridge pole of the house.
I do like the sound design in this game. This sounds very much like a forest wood sound. Or a wood. Let's go back to Emerson. Alright. So far, I can see the appeal of this. It is a chill game. You know, maybe if you're like a university professor or like in high school and wanted to like have like your students do this, it'd be cool. Ah, shit, it's my beam field.
Wishing to earn $10 or $12 by some honest and agreeable method, in order to meet my unusual expenses, I planted about 2.5 acres of light and sandy soil, chiefly with beans.
It's a lot of acres.
I am no more lonely than the loon in the pond that laughs so loud, or than Walden Pond itself. I am no more lonely than a single mullein or dandelion in a pasture, or a bean leaf, or a sorrel, or a horsefly, or a bumblebee. I am no more lonely than the millbrook, or a weathercock, or the North Star, or the south wind, or an April shower, or a January thaw, or the first spider in a new house. Our whole life is startlingly moral. There is never an instant's truce between virtue and vice. Goodness is the only investment that never fails.
Man, it's already gonna change seasons? Bro, I just got here. I gotta get back to Waldo's.
All sound heard at the greatest possible distance produces one and the same effect, the vibration of the universal lyre, just as the intervening atmosphere makes a distant ridge of the earth interesting to our eyes by the azure tint it imparts to it.
Move it, soldier! You capture Bravo. No kidding. Kidding. The fuck? Oh god. That was a good bug. And that's when Thoreau jumped 150 feet in the air.
Every day or two I stroll to the village to hear some of the gossip which is incessantly going on there, circulating either from mouth to mouth or from newspaper to newspaper, and which, taken in homeopathic doses, was really as refreshing in its way as the rustle of leaves and the peeping of frogs. Men have become the tools of their tools. The man who independently plucked the fruits when he was hungry has become a farmer, and he who stood under a tree for shelter, a housekeeper. We now no longer camp as for a night, but have settled down on earth and forgotten heaven.
a good line. Time moves quick in this game, man.
Here in the woods, I live in each season as it passes, breathe the air, drink the drink, taste the fruit, and resign myself to the influence of the earth.
Ah, there you are, Henry. This new poem of yours is exceptional. I think it may be the purest strain and the loftiest that has yet peeled from this unpoetic American forest. Tell me, what are you working on next? And have you thought much of publishing your work, so that it might reach beyond our small hamlet?
I got new letters.
My dear Miss Fuller, it is good to hear from you that work on the next issue of The Dial proceeds. I am sending you a new piece that my young friend Thoreau has written for our journal. Talk with him but a few hours and you will find him a remarkable person, I am certain. He is a treasured companion, and I have had the most memorable conversations with him about nature and all else. We are all well, and young Waldo sends you his love. R.W. Emerson.
Henry David Thoreau. Printer. Two solitary stars, unmeasured systems, far between us roll, but in our conscious light we are determined to one pole. Don't know about that, Henry. There's nothing in the world I know that can escape from love, for every depth it goes below at every height above. It waits as waits the sky until the clouds go by, yet shines serenely on with an eternal day, alike when they are gone and when they stay. Okay. Alright, it's like a book of some sort. Or the dial.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Ah, you found my home. Good for you, Henry. I wanted to look at that passage about the generations of mankind and how they're like the autumn leaves. You know the one I mean.
I'm not read it.
No, I haven't read it.
Oh, well, I had hoped you would and that it would give you inspiration. You should look at it when you have a moment. Your experiment reminds me of the image of heroic life that Homer gives us. I wonder, can we all make our lives heroic in our quality of living, if not on the field of battle? Since you're here, I've also been looking for my works of Confucius. I was reading it the other day down by the marsh. Have you seen it there by any chance?
I haven't seen it, but I can look for it.
Wonderful. Let me mark the very spot. I think I left it on your map so that you can find it.
Bro,
That
I'm
shouldn't
like,
be difficult to
seems
find.
like you've been like leaving your
I'll
books.
see you again soon.
Like, am I your lapdog?
Interesting.
Let's chop some wood.
Ugh.
good on that. I need food, though. Bro gets tired quick. Check out these berries here. Blueberry. Alright. Let's go into town. Welcome to Concord. Here you can find the general store, post office, and your family's home.
One afternoon, near the end of the first summer, when I went to the village to get a shoe from the cobblers, I was seized and put into jail because, as I have elsewhere related, I did not pay a tax to or recognize the authority of the state which buys and sells men, women, and children like cattle at the door of its Senate House. I had gone down to the woods for other purposes, but wherever a man goes, men will pursue and paw him with their dirty institutions and, if they can, constrain him to belong to their desperate oddfellow society.
Alright, so I'm locked in here. Civil disobedience, okay. I heartily accept the motto that government is best which governs the least. I'd like to see it acted up to more rapidly and systematically. Carry out, it finally amounts to this, which also I believe that government is best which governs not at all. Women are prepared for it. That will be the kind of government which they will have. Governance is best, but inexpedient. But most governments are usually, and all governments are sometimes inexpedient. The objections which have been brought against the standing army, and they are many and weighty and deserve to prevail, may also at least be brought against the standing government. Standing army is only an arm of standing government. Government itself, which is only the mode which the people have chosen to execute their will, is equally liable to be abused and perverted before the people can act through it. Witness the present Mexican War. The work of comparatively a few individuals using the standing government as their tool, for in the outset the people would not have consented to this measure. This American government, what is it but a tradition, though a recent one, endeavoring to transmit itself unimpaired to posterity, but each instant losing some of its integrity. It has not the vitality and force of a single living man. For a single living man can bend it to its will. It is sort of wooden gun to the people themselves, but is not the less necessary for this. For the people must have some complicated machinery or other, and here it's done to satisfy the idea of government which they have. Governments show thus how successfully men can be imposed on, even impose on themselves for their own advantage. It's excellent, we must all allow, yet this government never of itself furthered any enterprise, but by the alacrity with which it got out of its way. I don't know if I'm going to read all of this. I mean, it's definitely cool that you can, and I'm realize that I seem like a simpleton for not reading this. But again, I view reading books and playing games as two different activities, and I'm curious as to how, like I said, how well they implement. Tell this story using video games. Let me out! I'm out! Oh, hold on.
Under a government which imprisons any unjustly, the true place for a just man is also a prison.
true. Yes, anti-slavery society.
Interesting.
But thousands who are in opinion opposed to slavery and to the war, who yet in effect do nothing to put an end to them, who esteeming themselves children of Washington Franklin sit down with their hands in their pockets and say that they know not what to do and do nothing. When a sixth of the population of the nation which is undertaken to be the refuge of liberty of slaves, and the whole country is unjustly overrun and conquered by a foreign army, I think that it is not too soon for honest men to rebel and revolutionize. What makes this duty the more urgent is that ours is the invading army.
I have paid no poll tax for 6 years. I was put into a jail once on this account for one night, and as I stood considering the walls of solid stone, 2 or 3 feet thick, the door of wood and iron a foot thick, and the iron grating which strained the light, I could not help being struck with the foolishness of that institution which treated me as if I were mere flesh and blood and bones to be locked up. I did not for a moment feel confined, and the wall seemed a great waste of stone and mortar.
Fuck these people. They threw you in prison.
Henry and John have decided to start their own school, Father. It means they won't be able to help much in the pencil factory, but they already have several students promised to attend, and it will be a fine, uncommon school, won't it, Henry?
This is your parents' house. It says your mother may have done your laundry. Not so self-sufficient, are we, Henry? Now that your mother is doing your laundry for you still. Nice. You prepared your clothes as much as you can at this time. Alright. Oh, that pie. Give me that pie. I want that pie. Give me that pie. Huckleberry never reaches Boston. As long as eternal justice reigns, not one innocent huckleberry can be transported thither from the country's hills. Your mother baked pie, I imagine, is delicious. Click on it to eat it.
Dear Henry, I have set a little game for you based on our own favorite board, the woods. Here is the first piece of the puzzle. I rise above the forest floor, where once I lay in days of yore. A gentle hand has made formation in places hidden, though not forbidden. Come find me if you seek inspiration. Bonne chance, Sophia.
Bonne chance! Sophia, bonne chance. Hey, bonne chance. Sorry. So this is
July
kind of like...
1838. Dear Messieurs Thoreau, my sister, whom you know, has sent me a copy of the Yeoman's Gazette with your advertisement for a new Concord Academy, and suggested I contact you regarding the education of my son, Edmund Sewell. Edmund is a bright pupil, and is in need of instruction preparatory to a collegiate course, with the usual English branches of study. I will send him, with my daughter Ellen as chaperone, to meet you at your earliest convenience. Sincerely, Reverend Edmund Quincy Sewell.
So far this game's been a lot of, like, walking around reading letters. Which is, it's like a cool history exhibit, kind of. teacher.
Dear Ellen, Sophia tells me you enjoyed the poems I sent, so here are some more brief lines for you with my best wishes. Nature never makes haste. Her systems revolve at an even pace. The bud swells imperceptibly, without hurry or confusion, as though the short spring days were an eternity. Why then should man hasten, as if anything less than an eternity were allotted for the last deed? As the wise man is not anxious that time wait for him, neither does he wait for it. Henry Thoreau.
August 1838. Dear Sophia, it was so kind of your family to welcome us, and I hope we will see you all again soon. Edmund looks forward to starting his studies with your brothers, and I'm sure we will all see much more of each other. The poems Henry sent came safely and pleased us much. The sonnet entitled Beauty is my favorite. Best regards, Ellen Sewell.
In the future, it's just together they're gonna be reading like Twitter posts from people, like their DMs and shit. What's this? Walk to Wachusett. Summer and winter. How long is this? Okay. Summer and winter, our eyes had rested on the dim outline of the mountains in our horizon, to which distance and instinctiveness lent a grandeur not their own, so that they served equally to interpret all the allusions of poets and travelers. With Homer on a spring morning, we sat down on the many-peaked Olympus, or with Virgil and his compeers, roamed the Etruria and Thalian hills, or with Humboldt measured the more modern Andes and Tenerife. Thus we spoke our mind to them, standing on the Concord cliffs. At length the Rassalis, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, and other inhabitants of happy, what you just... Bro is just like falling asleep, standing up in random people's houses and shit. Okay. I know, but I'm like, I understand this. Check the second page. Oh, alright. I just got here to Concord, man. Now I gotta go back. Alright, peace out.
As I walked in the woods to see the birds and squirrels, so I walked to the village to see the men and boys. Instead of the wind among the pines, I heard the carts rattle. In one direction from my house, there was a colony of muskrats in the river meadows. Under the grove of elms and buttonwoods in the other horizon was a village of busy men, as curious to me as if they had been prairie dogs.
Back to the woods.
What shall I learn of beans or beans of me? I cherish them, I hoe them. Early and late I have an eye to them, and this is my day's work. Interesting. Fellow travelers, as they rattled by, compared it aloud with the fields which they had passed, so that I came to know how I stood in the agricultural world. Mine was, as it were, the connecting link between wild and cultivated fields. As some states are civilized, and others half-civilized, and others savage or barbarous, so my field was, though not in a bad sense, a half-cultivated field.
Like I'm already out of wood.
Every man looks at his woodpile with a kind of affection. I love to have mine before my window, and the more chips, the better to remind me of my pleasing work.
I don't know about that, man.
August, 1845. Dear Henry, don't forget that we care for you and miss you at home.
I was
Should you
just
visit,
there.
I have left a surprise for you on the game table, as I know you love a good challenge. Stay safe and healthy. Your sister,
Okay, I
Sophia.
think I already got it right.
Sometimes, in a summer morning, I sat in my sunny doorway from sunrise till noon, wrapped in a reverie, amidst the pines and hickories and sumacs, in undisturbed solitude and stillness, while the birds sang around or flitted noiseless through the house, until by the sun falling in at my west window, or the noise of some traveler's wagon on the distant highway, I was reminded of the lapse of time. When I return to my house, I find that visitors have been there and left their cards. Either a bunch of flowers, or a wreath of evergreen, or a name in pencil on a yellow walnut leaf, or a chip. Huh. I learned that it would cost incredibly little trouble to obtain one's necessary food, even in this latitude, that a man may use as simple a diet as the animals, and yet retain health and strength. As I sit at my window this summer afternoon, hawks are circling about my clearing, the tantivy of wild pigeons, flying by 2 and 3s athwart my view, or perching restless on the white pine boughs behind my house, give a voice to the air. A fish hawk dimples the glassy surface of the pond and brings up a fish. A mink steals out of the marsh before my door and seizes a frog by the shore. The sedge is bending under the weight of the reed birds flitting hither and thither, and for the last half hour I have heard the rattle of railroad cars, now dying away.
Be ready, friend Henry. Tomorrow I will require your assistance with an errand of utmost consequence.
Bro.
Look for my instructions here at your cabin tomorrow morning, and be ready to put your expert knowledge of our woods to work for the cause of freedom. I hope you will not fail me. Most sincerely, A. Bronson Alcott.
Is this Confucius? No. Get out here. And where was that? Alright. Oh shit. Red squirrel. Alright. Let's fish. Just gonna go for it. Alright. Alright, we have completed fishing. Straight ahead. Ugh. This right away. Alright, from Intellects of Confucius. Collections of sayings and ideas attributed to the Chinese philosopher Confucius, 500 BCE. These writings have only recently been translated, and finding them in Emerson's library has certainly been inspiring to you and your writing. The themes of embracing simplicity, seeing the divine in nature, reveling in paradox, cultivating life balance, and being true to self are evident in this work and your own. The master says, if in the morning I hear about the right way, and in the evening die, I can be happy. Man's life is properly connected with virtue. The life of the evil man is preserved by mere good fortune. Coarse rice for food, water to drink, and the bended arm for a pillow. Happiness may be enjoyed even in these. Without virtue, riches and honor seem to be like a passing cloud. A wise and good man was Kwai. A piece of bamboo was his dish, a coconut his cup, his dwelling a miserable shed. Men could not sustain the sight of his wretchedness. The Hui did not change the serenity of his mind. A wise and good man was Hui. Shi Kong said, discontented, the sage replies, they sought and obtained complete virtue. How then could they be discontented? The master says, Yao is the man who, in torn clothes or common apparel, sits with those dressed in furred robes without feeling shame. To worship a temple not your own is mere flattery. Let's see here. So yeah, this is cool that you can kind of you can definitely like role play. Let's just doing this, you know.
Books are the treasured wealth of the world and the fit inheritance of generations and nations. Books, the oldest and the best, stand naturally and rightfully on the shelves of every cottage.
Where was my, crap. It's dark? Hey, bud. Where's my lantern? So this is an interesting, like, experience.
Interesting.
I'm trying to get back to the cabin. I should have gone back to my cabin. Fuck. This is very stressful. Like, like the purpose of this should be to chill, but like every 3 seconds I have a, you check your fucking beans, they're gonna die, or you have to eat. Oh shit, you gotta chop wood. Fuck. Like, I think the time cycles should be a little bit longer. Flowers.
Interesting.
There we go. There's my cabin. Man, leave me the fuck alone. I'm trying to chill in my cabin, and every 3 seconds, somebody's like, Henry, come do this for me. Henry, I need to talk to Henry. Like, no wonder this dude moved out in the fucking woods. Alright. Yeah, I already know, bro. You already threw me in prison. No, opposite direction. That golden run? No, John's word. Gift basket with bread and cheese. Only he can be trusted with gifts who can present a vase of bronze. To expectations, solve Sophia's riddles. Find what gifts she has left for you in the woods. Look on that basket to pick it up.
Congratulations, you've solved the first riddle. Now let's see how far you can get in the game. Between Peak of Haywood and Water's Edge, in a patch of daisies and a bit of sedge, nearby, a perfect point for fish and fowl, and in the evening, a hooting owl. Love, Sophia.
Okay.
I never found the companion that was so companionable as solitude. A man thinking or working is always alone. Let him be where he will. Solitude is not measured by the miles of space that intervene between a man and his fellows.
Alright. Join solitude in the cairns. What did that say? There's solitude here which will raise your inspiration. Alright, that's what how we do. This way? Yeah.
Why do precisely these objects which we behold make a world? Why has man just these species of animals for his neighbors? As if nothing but a mouse could have filled this crevice.
Should be right around here.
Good work. Keep going. Standing tall at the rim of the sky, like my namesake's transparent eye, I have the clearest view of all we know, far from toil of the field and the hoe. S.
Oh man, it's all the way around there. All right, let's try to get that, and then I might call it to the night. There. And I want to find the boat. Silly boy, you are doing all right. I got a sleepy puppy in my lap. Who the fuck are you? Get off my fucking woods! Oh man, just leave me alone! Right across the beach camp, you can rest by the fire or take a boat from here to the other areas of fun.
Ah, hello.
Good afternoon.
Ah, you found my Confucius. Good for you, Henry. I wanted to look at that passage about knowing what we know and what we don't know. I know you must know the one I mean.
Yes, I've read it.
Well, that's good. I'd hoped you would, and that it would give you inspiration. Your experiment reminds me quite a bit of what Confucius says about needing only coarse rice for food, water to drink, and the bended arm for a pillow to achieve happiness. Since we're discussing these ethical scriptures, I've also been looking all over for my laws of Manu.
I haven't seen it, but I can look.
This dude just losing his books everywhere.
Let me mark the very spot.
That shouldn't be difficult to find. I'll see you again soon.
Alright, you on his boat. Can I steer or just get to see the other side of the pond? How do I steer? I need to get a boat. And you are a ways out there. There. Just got his little cove. Alright. Let's get the next thing from her. Go east. See, I'm playing this too much like a video game and not like a roleplay as this dude. I'm gonna play this for like another 10 minutes. I'm enjoying this. It's definitely an experience more so than a game. There we go. I'd actually like to go to Walden's.
Here's a cap to keep you warm, and another riddle to keep you thinking. At the very edge of the Walden Wood, in grove of deeply green sweet fern, find me you should, before the leaves turn. Sophia.
A lake is the landscape's most beautiful and expressive feature. It is Earth's eye, looking into which the beholder measures the depth of his own nature. To be a philosopher is not merely to have subtle thoughts, nor even to found a school, but so to love wisdom as to live according to its dictates, a life of simplicity, independence, magnanimity, and trust. It is to solve some of the problems of life, not only theoretically, but practically. Huh.
Let's go for it. Path. Yeah. Pretty nice sky. I think that maybe this is something I would like to do in real life and not necessarily in a video game.
You need only sit still long enough in some attractive spot in the woods that all its inhabitants may exhibit themselves to you by turns.
Something bitter and something sweet for you. And a new clue. Closer to home, in violet and rose, where the whistle of Fitchburg solemnly blows, I stand on a path where Indians tread, and once by our brother, so too will be led. All my love, Sophia.
Can't see. Let's just go until we can sleep and then wake up in the cabin again. Oh, it's an owl.
Interesting.
fire. Okay, yeah, let's go over to the cabin.
Summer is gone now, with all its infinite wealth, and still nature is genial to me. Though I no longer pluck so many berries on the hill, still I behold the same inaccessible beauty around me. Before we can adorn our houses with beautiful objects, the walls must be stripped, and our lives must be stripped, and beautiful housekeeping and beautiful living be laid for a foundation. A taste for the beautiful is most cultivated out of doors, where there is no house and no housekeeper. I was as much affected by the faint hum of a mosquito making
That's
its
a nice sound.
invisible
I like
and
me some
unimaginable tour through my
thunderstorms.
apartment at earliest dawn, as I could be by any trumpet that ever sang of fame.
I think I'm gonna call it here.
Ah, Henry. It is so seldom I am disappointed by you. I know you must have had good reason not to deliver the items as I asked. The man John, for whom I requested your aid, did sit at our table, and was an impressive lesson to my children, bringing before them the wrongs done to the black man by the peculiar institution of the South. I hope that I can count on you more reliably in the future.
Fuck off, dude.
Your friend, A. Bronson Alcott.
Dear Henry, it seems like Concord is growing so rapidly these days. I see in the post office that there is much surveying work to be had for someone like yourself, who knows the land and loves to walk its every vista.
For a
Of course,
dude that just
surveying
wanted to
does
go out
aid
in the
in
woods and
parceling
fucking
up
chill,
of your beloved
everybody
woods.
is bothering
And
this
yet,
man.
it is a living that could keep you while you write and live close to nature. A difficult choice, certainly. Yours sincerely, R.W.E.
Alright. Alright, that was a cool experiment. This is a game I may return to. It's not something it's pressing on me. Actually, this really just makes me want to play Oblivion. But, again, I'm not a simpleton. I do like this kind of stuff. I will return to you at some point. But I'll be back on, if you have a good week, I will be back on next Friday. Yeah, maybe here soon I'll start streaming Oblivion on Tuesdays. I'm not sure. Anyway, see ya. Have a good one. My bad.